Welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that takes being politically correct serious. So we like to refer to it as Snow Caucasian and the Seven Little People. I'm your host, Rob.
And I'm your host, Chad. So today we're talking about Snow White and the Huntsman. As Rob just so graciously told us, we now no longer call it that. But the rest of the week, we're really excited. We just got back from Comic-Con today, and we're bringing you the geek entertainment that you want and love from us. So we went and saw a movie. We're wiped clean. Like, we are tired.
If we fall asleep during this, forgive us. But the rest of the entertainment for the rest of the week should make up for the fact that...
Yeah, well, Thursday we're going to have the Comic-Con episode talking about our experiences there. And then the next couple weeks we'll be throwing some epic extras at you from some of the cool things that we saw and did there. So make sure you check back on Thursday for that episode because it's going to be really exciting.
Yep. And like always, you could like us on Facebook, or you could follow us on Twitter at Epic Geek Out.
Also, send in any emails that you guys have, fans@epicgeekout.com. And the most important thing, as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel because then you'll get the updates when we push out new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and sometimes other days when we feel like it.
Yeah, and if you happen to bump into us at the con and we talked or anything, please shoot us an email. We met a lot of great people there, and it was really fun. So, please reach out to us if we met you, or even if not. So
cool. Let's get into the review of Snow White and the Huntsman.
So we just got back from seeing Snow White and the Huntsman. Stars Kristen Stewart, Charlize Theron,
Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth, thank you for the help. It's just a retelling of the classic tale, Snow White, done with a lot more darkness, pretty decent CGI, imagination. So it is that story being retold pretty much point by point. There didn't seem to be too many deviations from what I remember. So Chad, what did you think?
Well, we did go see, as we said in the intro, after a long weekend. So we were kind of dreading going into it. Wasn't getting the best of reviews. We were tired. I was worried I was going to fall asleep. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
I was surprised. It was better than I had anticipated. It had a lot of really cool ideas in it. The story itself was a deviation from the typical Snow White story, and I think geared more towards the male demographic, which is cool, because it was more actiony and gritty. But for where I thought I guess the good things first that I liked from it was the effects and the imagination of the world was fully realized. Like the dark forest was really cool. How they explained how all the magical things kind of happen in the forest was less of like this tree's alive, but they explained it away as like they kind of get this spore thing, kind of like Batman, like you said.
Yeah,
like the Scarecrow.
Can I just say one thing? I mean, it really seemed like the director has seen every movie I have seen recently, because it seemed just there were parts taken out of other movies, like they filmed it at the exact same locations. Like a lot of different things looked like a lot of different Harry Potter parts that looked just like Batman Begins. There was a scene that I'm pretty sure is going to be in The Hobbit, like coming up with them walking on the hillside. So I think you can...
Well, just going back into like what I mean by that is the dark forest was explained as there's spores from these like mushrooms that when she fell or when anyone fell, it kind of made you hallucinate and see things in the forest. So like the trees moved, you saw little creatures and stuff. So that was a really cool, interesting concept and idea that I think...
and it feeds off your feet.
Right, that I think was interesting. And I like that they made that leap to take that a little differently. Kind of every part of the movie was...
But then there was a troll. Like, it was still
right.
dark.
Well, yeah,
like, it still did have its ominous.
But what I was gonna say is like the troll even and the mirror, like everything had its own little twist from like the traditional thing, and you could tell that the director definitely took the time to like think about each part of the world, and like they created the troll like that looked nothing like I've seen a troll look. They created the mirror in a new, interesting way. They created the crow part where she like crawls out of the crows at the end. So a lot of really cool imaginative stuff in it that I really appreciated. The story, while not complex, I thought was decent. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it took a little bit of deviation enough that I thought made it original, but kept that same Snow White. Where the movie failed for me was just that I think they were so concerned with the story, like the plot points, because it hit a lot of plot points throughout, and the effects and like that whole world, that they really suffered for the characters, because the characters were very flat. A lot of them really just plain, and I don't know if that's the acting, maybe. I mean, because Kristen Stewart, she barely had any lines throughout the movie, and she was very like boring. She looked like a bore, and she's supposed to be the centerpiece of this entire world. Like everything hinges on her. Like the queen can live or die by her, basically, and she just like
The realm
was there,
can live or die by her.
Right, exactly, and she was just kind of there, like meh, meh.
What you said, I think if you could see how many words she spoke for a leading character, it might take the world record of least. I mean, except for maybe Hannibal, because he did speak. He was on time for like the least.
Right.
But I agree.
So the characters, that's really where it lost what it could have been. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was fun enough. Better than I expected, but it wasn't great because of that. And I think every great movie has to have good characters, and it really didn't have that. Chris Hemsworth is a freaking movie star, though. I love him, and he was great. And I think he is going to do big things, because I mean, you'll see on Thursday. We met him. Well, we didn't really meet him. We saw his panel at the Comic-Con, and he's just a engaging person. So I think he was great in it, and the dwarves were an interesting take on that. So
I thought that was
overall great. I thought it was good. I thought it was better than I expected, and a decent movie.
Yeah, it certainly exceeded my expectations. I had very low expectations going into it. Kind of, if you saw a review for Wrath of the Titans, sort of had that same feeling going into it that, I'm going to go see it for the show. But this, I came out enjoying more than I enjoyed Wrath of the Titans, which is good. It I liked each person had kind of their weapon. They fit their role, which was like, oh, Lord of the Rings, you got a guy with the axe, you got the dwarves, which were kind of more like the Hobbits, and then you got Legolas with the bow. So, I mean, really everyone hit their, like, little niche, which I was like, oh, that's so Lord of the Rings. The castle looked like Hogwarts to me. She looked like Voldemort exactly at one point in the movie.
Wasn't there, like, another castle somewhere in some movie or something where it was with the tide? Where like that's what protected it.
You're thinking of Woman in Black with the tide.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I did enjoy it. Again, I don't know if she just wasn't given any lines to speak, but the ones she was given, like they weren't really. When she had to invigorate a crowd, it really didn't.
Well, when she didn't speak throughout the whole movie, and then she's supposed to give this empowering speech, it's like, okay, yeah.
And it didn't deviate so much that you didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I enjoyed, like you said, their different takes. Also, just the way the towns that they went through were set up, I thought were pretty cool. They looked visually impressive. There was a good attention to detail. We met some different groups of people along the way that I wish would have played more into how they... the ending part of the movie. I thought they could have added some different things to that. It seemed kind of the queen was all powerful, like she couldn't get her in the Black Forest, but then after instead of giving her the apple, which is Snow White, take her heart there before. Yeah. I mean there were a lot. There's definitely holes to the movie, and you can nitpick it, but it was pretty good. The action scenes I enjoyed. You didn't really care, like you said, too much for the characters, but I did want to see them succeed.
Right, yeah, and I agree.
The numbers, I think, felt like kind of were off, too, in that final battle scene. It looked like a lot died, and then a lot more were in, and stuff like that.
And along with the character part, I think the relationships just didn't work at all, either. I mean, that could be because the characters were weak, but it didn't earn any of the character moments throughout the movie. Like, obviously there's the love moment or whatever, which it didn't earn that. Like the characters weren't set up in that way,
and it was long. I mean,
it was. It was 2 hours.
A pretty
and 7
long
minutes.
movie that they could have done things faster.
I think it was a slave to the plot, and it kept moving forward in that regard.
It did. It hit plot point.
So I think that's where they couldn't really. But you can tell character stuff through that, and they kind of missed that opportunity.
The one thing I did enjoy, you hate the queen. I mean, you have to, but it did give you a sense of why she was doing it.
Yeah.
and what she went through, and it was actually just a quick flashback, but it gave you a little more glimpse into what led her to be like that.
More motivation.
Game of Thrones has seriously messed up movies and television because now there's all this awkwardness between brothers and sisters, like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
unnecessary. Like Game of Thrones really has screwed things up in that like weirdness category, which I just didn't think was necessary for this. And that guy, he reminded me of the dad in Back to the Future, just with the weirdness, her brother's character. So kind of enjoyable. I mean, it's not a rush out to go see movie, but I enjoyed it, and
there was interesting things at play, and you could definitely tell that they created this looking at every detail, and they definitely you could tell that this was someone's idea of Snow White and take on it, which was cool. It wasn't just your typical Snow White; it was a take on it, and it was original, which I thought was cool.
Yeah,
so
points for originality. Good work.
All right, it's the end of another show, so it's our time to geek out and give our thanks for the day of what we are thankful for in Geek. So, Rob, what is your thanks?
So, I am going to steal one of your old thanks and repeat it as my own.
Nice.
I am thankful for Battlestar Galactica.
It's actually the third time we've thanked that on this show.
Is it?
Because I think I don't know.
Well,
awesome.
Let me tell you something. I just finished the series, and I feel like there's a hole in my heart because I miss Colonel Ty going frackin' Cylons. I liked it. I don't think I enjoyed the ending as much as you did, but there was an ending to it. You know,
right.
The series did end. They gave you an answer for each character. I like the very, very ending of it. Mm-hmm. It was my goal to finish it before I got to Comic-Con because I was just nervous as hell someone was going to ruin it for me. So I'm really happy that I got that under my belt. And so I'd also give you a thanks to you because, you turned me onto the show. And it was good. It was definitely a good watch. It's on Netflix. I've been telling people who have Instant just to check it out because it definitely occupied some time, and it was good. So check out Battlestar Galactica if you haven't. But
we're probably the only ones that haven't at this point.
No, but we have.
But we have now. Right.
So, Chad, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for another tech thing that I've been using pretty frequently the past month or so. The Google Drive is a new product from Google that has come out. It's a cloud storage thing. So basically, think about it for in your terms of like a USB drive that is online and you can access from any computer. Awesome. Well, you looked confused, and when I did CS6 the other week, you didn't understand. So, I've been using it. You can basically have a folder on all your computers. So, like, I have the work computer, the home computer, the laptop that I have all synced up to this cloud.
What's the Terminator stuff? What's that?
Skynet?
Yeah, that's Skynet, and that scares me.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like Dropbox, but it's from Google, so it's awesome. I think it works great. So I've been using it so much for doing files and stuff. So if you guys haven't checked out Google Drive, you can sign up for a free account. You can upgrade the storage up to like 16 terabytes of cloud storage, but it's like $700 a month if you want to. But yeah, I mean, I think you get 5 gigs free, so it's awesome.
I'm against Skynet, so don't sign up. This is going to be the end of us.
All right, so we're going to go to sleep now because we have had a long weekend. We're really excited to share with you our experiences at Comic-Con, which you will see on Thursday. So make sure you come back for that. But thank you for watching this episode of Epic Geek Out, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.